Hi, I'm Jason.
Hi, I'm Sarana.
And the idea of going to France it might seem impossible, but the story of how we met is even more impossible, and that's what we're going to share with you today.
The story all began with when Jason was in college here in California, and he met this young lady who is from Japan. So obviously, young people fall in love, and by the time the young lady wants to go back to Japan, and Jason said, "Okay, I'm gonna follow you and go to Japan with you."
That's pretty much how it went. Yeah, again, a very impossible kind of story. Right around the time that I was sort of meeting this person, Sarana was in Florida. And so we were actually in the same country at the same time. But again, we were like worlds apart. And the way that we met is just an impossible situation. But yes, I was living in San Francisco. And it was a sort of a sad, depressing time for me because my father had passed away in 1988. And so I went through several years of not knowing what I wanted to do in life, just being kind of sad, and I never really found myself. And around sometime in 1995, or maybe it was 96, I forget, but I kind of decided that it's time for me to start thinking about making improvements in my life. You know, I was working at a job I didn't really like, I didn't really care for, and then I just decided, you know what, let me quit the job. And I got real artistic. It was kind of like a rebirth for me. I was painting, portraits. I was playing music. I was in a little band. So it was kind of like a renaissance for me, a rebirth. Around that time is when I met this girl from Japan. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm finally starting to get my life on track. And so I said, this is wonderful. And several months into our relationship, I found out, oh no, she can't afford to stay in San Francisco anymore. She's going to go home. And so I was devastated. I figured, what am I going to do to follow this girl to Japan? And so I decided to go back to college. I had dropped out because I was just so sad and depressed. And so I figured if I go back to college and get my degree, then I can get a teaching job in Japan so I can go there to be with her. And so that's how my journey to Japan got started. A really improbable thing. I never thought I would go back to college. I was kind of, it was like out of my mind, but this sort of chance meeting with this girl from Japan is what sort of set my life in motion and set me on my journey to Japan. And through some strange twist of fate later,
Oh, we'll go later.
I would meet her.
So, well, we have to thank her for all this, right? If we're looking back, that so many things that happened for a reason, and that was one of the reasons for us to meet eventually. So, like Jason said, that during 1997. 98, I was actually an exchange student. I went from Japan to Florida for a year, homestaying just to learn more English. And so, again, we still don't know each other. We don't know if we were existed. So back then, so we're just living our own lives. Once I went back to Japan, I just fall in love with America so much. I just promised myself that I will come back to go to the university here. And so once I went back, yeah, so that was the same time, about same time Jason went to Japan,
Right.
I assume, yeah. And then so wow. Well, now we need to figure out how these two people can meet, right? Because I originally from Japan, from China, and my family from the previous episode, I mentioned that I was born in Inner Mongolia, China, and my dad got a job in Tokyo, Japan. When I was 13 years old, that's why I went to Japan initially. So for a Chinese girl and American boy to meet in Japan. Let me tell you how that happened.
The story began where I told you that I went to Japan for this girl. I guess I should have mentioned that, prior to me going to Japan, I had to go back to college to get my degree. It was about a year and a half of college work, and I did it. I worked really hard, but in that time that it took me to get my degree, obviously, people are going to grow apart. People are going to get kind of distance. And we were really far apart. I was in San Francisco. This girl that I love was in Japan, and I was trying to fly back and forth to Japan to sort of continue to build the relationship. But, as things go, we kind of drifted apart. And so I still was determined to go to Japan. And the first day I got to Japan, we broke up. And, I did all these things to go to Japan to be with this girl, and there was not a happy ending to that story. And so, several weeks and months went through. We talked, we tried to get back together, but it didn't really work. I just felt that it was over, and I decided, so I need to move on. And, how am I going to get started? How am I going to meet someone? And then my original idea was to try to meet someone in Japan to do a language exchange. And so I placed an ad in a magazine called Tokyo Classified. And it's a great way for people living in Japan to meet other people of Japan, like for language exchange or to build friendships. And so I placed an ad and, hope that someone would respond.
Okay, now I will take over from there. I was not the type of person that would just flip on these ads, or nowadays they call what, dating app or something like that. Friend dating. Yeah, I'm not the type of person doing this. I'm more of old school. I like to meet the person first and talk it that way, and become friends and all that. So what happened was one of my best friend, Japanese best friend, girlfriend, she likes to date people on this magazine or meet other people, foreign people from this magazine, not only just for dating, but also for friendship. Right. So from time to time, she would show me this magazine and say, hey, today I saw this person, or the other day I met that person. So it was very interesting. And I as a friend, I just kind of listened to her and, talked to her and gave her advice, if she needed. But back then, I was actually also dating an American. But that person was very... now looking back, it's like what do you call the playboy? Player type of person. So he would disappear from months at a time, and I don't know what happened. So when my girlfriend one day, she showed me the ads, I saw the description, although it was in the friendship, not the dating part, but more like looking for friends section. The description sounded very much like the boyfriend back then. So I said, oh, I see. Let me call this person, because is this what he has been doing? Let me just see if it's him that he's caught. But anyway, I said, you know what? Let me just call and find out if this, in fact, my boyfriend back then. And I called.
And she called me at the greatest time too.
No, I don't know if you remember, but your coworker, gosh, I don't remember his name. Bob, yeah. He answered, his coworker answered his phone. And they were in a bar and drinking and just, and I guess they were halfway drunk already. And so Bob answered the phone. And I said, hi, do you know so on and so forth? Is this so on and so forth? And he said, no, this is not. And so Bob was talking initially to me. And then finally he said, oh, okay, by the way, this is not my phone, so let me give it to, Jason, basically. Yeah. So from that point on, we were just talking on the phone, right? Yeah. From the phone conversation, you know how you initially on the phone, you just can't see other person's face? Right. Okay, by the way, the phone back in 90s,
it was 98.
If you know, you know. There's no such thing as a camera. Right. No. So it's just a phone, okay? And then so we were talking on the phone. So I was just kind of trying to imagine what this voice or what this person would look like with that voice. And then in my mind, well, he told me he's African American. So in my mind, I was thinking, based on his deep voice, how do I put
healthy sized. You thought I was healthy sized and dark skinned.
Healthy sized, dark skinned, African American person. And I didn't mind because his personality was so great and he just seemed such a wonderful person. and and it was very enjoyable to talk over the phone with him.
I do remember having a good feeling about this person and you being so patient to, first of all, answer the phone and have it be someone else. And then they switched the phone over to me. Bob gave me the phone. And then we discovered that we were actually, halfway decent people. Weren't who we thought we were. And so we did make plans to meet.
After many phone calls later, basically, just like regular people, when, what's your hobby, what's your favorite color, that type of thing, conversation. So eventually we decide to meet in the city called Shinjuku in Tokyo. And, we decided time and we went there. So we met, right?
I
We
remember
met.
that.
And then, of course, I'm like, oh, he's not a healthy, dark-skinned
Completely different.
person.
It was actually very thin.
which is it's fine because but all this time in your mind, you were thinking certain way, and then when you see the actual person, it's very different.
The only thing I remember is saying, "Oh wow, she's tall."
Yeah, because I'm okay. I had a 6-inch heel or something, boots, and I still remember now. He probably a whole night he said, "Oh, you're so tall. Oh, you're so tall. Oh, you're so
said that a few
tall."
times,
A few times. But yeah, I'm tall Asian basically. I am. But anyway, so we met and we went to dinner.
Remember what we had?
Some pasta.
Yes. Wow.
I don't remember most things, but
That's pretty good.
But anyway, so yeah, that's our basically right our how we met. It's
The rest is history, as they say.
yes,
But just thinking about how impossible that was, you from Inner Mongolia, China, I'm living in San Francisco, and somehow we met because of two people that we were involved with. Somehow that led us to sort of meet and fall in love. And so it's a completely impossible story.
Just think if you never met your ex, I never met my ex.
Yeah.
If I didn't have my best friend showing me the magazine,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
No, it's and for me, instead of calling other people,
Right.
somehow that section, your section, stood out.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm lucky that my friend answered the phone. I don't know what I was doing or where I was, but
So if you think about it, it just seems like everything aligned for us.
Yes.
Because if you never get to Japan, I never, look at the magazine. It's just impossible for us to meet. Impossible.
Every single thing that happens, we believe, happens for a reason. And so many different things, people, and reasons led us to meet. And we've been married for close to 26 years. And I'm just amazed when we tell the story.
Yeah, and then let's just go a little further. We want to talk about our daughter too, because that also was a story, right? So after we got married, we said, oh, we really want a child, right?
Yes.
And sure enough, in about a year or two after we got married, and I was pregnant, but I didn't know that, okay? And so one day I was feeling stomach pain, and we decided to go to the doctor because I was having fever too. So just want to get checked it out. Get checked. And we went to the doctor, and they did the test, and they said, oh, congratulations, you're pregnant. Right. And we were very shocked because we did not expect that. Yeah. But then very next thing is, why are you having so much pain? And so they decide to do a minor surgery, just to put the camera in and just to check what's going on. and it ended up to become it's called ectopic pregnancy,
Right.
which means that
The egg gets caught
the
in the
egg,
fallopian tube.
yeah, so the basically got caught in the fallopian tube.
That's right.
It start growing there. So it's very dangerous because it's life-threatening
Very,
situation.
very life-threatening.
So they had to take the baby out basically. And so that was pretty devastating.
A very, very devastating and sad time.
Same day, you find
yes.
out, you know.
This was August of 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And it's significant because just a few days before that, we welcomed our very first dog, whose name was Coco. He was just a puppy at that time. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because, and the reason we love dogs so much, and you see our dog Hito featured inside our videos, is because Coco helped my wife through that very difficult time. He was our child at that time. And I do not think you would have been able to get through all that without Coco.
No, he really was a very good, I hate to say distraction?
Yeah, sure.
Is that the word?
Yeah, that is.
Okay, and then, but he really kept my mind busy. I was sad, but you know, because of him, it's almost like he was, you know, my son. You know.
It was.
So yeah, he's wonderful, wonderful. He is just such a beautiful, beautiful dog.
Best dog ever.
Yeah.
And he gave us so much happiness and nurtured us through that time. You know, we had him for 15 years, and he, you know, gave our life so much happiness that eventually, after about 9 years after that, we were able to have.
Yeah, so after
Our daughter.
many years, we still wanted a baby, but it was very difficult after that. You know, the loss of pregnancy was
Right.
very difficult. Year after year after year, nothing, no baby, right? So, but luckily, after being married for 10, 11 years,
Right.
11 years, we were surprised. We were surprised.
Yeah.
What happened was, I guess it just at certain point, even your family, especially my Asian family, start saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just retire early and enjoy your life with no kids."
what we
Initially, they were saying, "When are you gonna have a kid? When are you gonna have kid?" By the time 11 years mark, they just pretty much, you know, they're nice. They want to make me feel good. They
Right.
make us feel better. So they just kind of said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just retire early. Enjoy your life as a couple."
And we thought that's what we're going to do. We said, you know, it's okay. We don't have any kids. We're just going to be that couple that travels around the world. And isn't it interesting that we have our beautiful daughter and we are still going to be traveling?
Yeah, so the point here is like the moment that you just think it's okay, just let go, and things happened. So that's when, you know, we had our daughter. This time around, I feel, again, the timing was so perfect because even
Absolutely.
in my early 20s, I don't think I could have been a good mom in terms of, you know, because when we matured, you know, in our 30s, we just feel more ready.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I
So
agree. I don't think I would have been ready.
it's me, a dog is fine, but you know, a baby probably would have been hard
Completely different.
for young people. So yeah, so that's our little bit about us.
Yeah. And we feel it's very important to share this with you. And one reason that we're doing this because we're asking you to go on this journey with us. From Los Angeles to France. And it's important that you know a little bit about us so that you can hopefully continue to be on this journey and discover the new things and new life experiences that we're going to discover together. And there's a reason for everything. There's a reason that we met, and there's a reason why you're watching this. And hopefully we can inspire you to do some things that you might be a little bit afraid to do.
What is meant for you will never pass you by. So
Absolutely.
whatever is gonna happen, it's going to happen. Sometimes we are in control of it. Sometimes we're not.
That's so true.
But just know that whatever meant to be is meant to be. Just
Absolutely.
yeah, just like what happened to us. People sometimes say, "You married for 26 years." Can I ask how old are you?
I don't mind telling you. Yeah, this year I'll be 56.
I am
Woman.
46. I just turned 46. So we're
Don't look a day over 26.
Oh my goodness. You know what people say? I'm his mother. Anyway. We're just being silly now.
Yeah, we
Okay. All right.
Thank you for watching. You know, our journey continues. We have a list of all the different things we need to do in order to get our visa and head to France, and we'll share those with you in the days to come. But until those videos, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.